Carlos Baerga bats third and plays second base. Albert Bell is their designated hitter. Paul Sereno plays first base. He'll be followed by Mark Whitten, the right fielder, batting sixth. Glenn Allen Hill plays left field. Brooke Jacoby is at third base again this evening, filling in for Jim Thome, who was hurt here last night. He'll bat eighth. Sandy Alomar is behind the plate, batting ninth. And there's a look at Scott Scudder, just 24 years old. He comes in with a 6-8 record. Earned run average 4.86. He's worked 100 innings, even 116 hits allowed. He struck out 61 while walking 49. A couple right-handers go this evening. Scudder against Aquino. Defensively for the Indians, the outfield has Hill in left field. Lofton plays center, Whitten out and right. The infield has Sereno and Baerga on the right side of the infield. It's Fermin and Jacoby on the left side. Alomar behind the plate, and Scudder, tonight's starting pitcher. Here's a look at the umpiring crew. They have called play ball, and with the first pitch, here's Denny.
Brian McRae takes a strike, and that's Gary Cedarstrom calling the balls and the strikes tonight. Ken Kaiser at first, Vic Voltaggio at second, Larry McCoy at third. Brian McRae hitless in his last 18 tries, trying to dump one in here into shallow center field, but Baerga splashes his way into shallow center to make a running grab. He went a long way for that ball, Split.
He plays a very deep second base, Denny, and he's got good range. Guy that has moved around to a number of different positions on the field defensively, and mentioned the outfield being very wet. That's a good indication of it right there.
67 degrees at game time here on that soggy field, and Greg Jeffries the batter now. 277 hitter on the year with 5 homers and 40 runs batted in. Takes a strike from Scudder. Jeffries and McReynolds both face Scudder quite a bit over in the National League as well. Jeffries is 5 for 12 against him, as is his teammate Kevin McReynolds. Scudder throws him out easily here. Almost. Too easy a play. He almost sailed it right over Sereno's head.
Sometimes plays can get almost too easy, as you mentioned, Denny, and he was a little lackadaisical with this throw. You need to step up and make a firm toss to the bag. You're right. The National League players have seen a lot more of Scudder. He spent time each of the last 3 years in the big leagues, all with the Cincinnati Reds. This is his first year over in the American League after the trade last winter with Greg Swindell, the former ace of the Indians, going to the Reds.
Scudder came over here with Jack Armstrong. This is George Brett now hitting .263. 1 for 5 in last night's game. George has faced Scudder half a dozen times, has 1 hit against him so far in his career. For a bad pitch. Down 0-2.
Scudder is a 4-pitch pitcher. He'll feature the fastball, a curveball, a changeup, and a split finger pitch. Here's the splitter. It's an off-speed pitch and goes almost straight down.
You think your eyes are deceiving you, and the Indians are wearing different caps tonight than they were last night. You're right. These are 1932 style caps. We continue the nostalgia craze throughout Major League Baseball. There's a 32 cap back behind Glenn Allen Hill, the left fielder, on the fence back there.
They're going to have a turn back the clock day here in the next few weeks, and the Indians are going to come out with their 32 uniforms. They're going to play the Tigers that day, and the Tigers will also have their 1932 uniforms. It'll be the end of this month, July 31st.
60 years of baseball here in Cleveland.
Royals can't take part in that promotion, can they?
No, definitely not. Although they have built some kind of tradition since '69. And this man has done a lot to make that tradition what it is. George needs 2 more doubles to tie Hank Aaron on the all-time list. Hammer and Hank, number 8. Scudder just missed, and the count full to Brett. Scott Scudder, just 24 years old, out of Paris, Texas, 6'2", 190-pounder. And Brett hammers it right back up the middle. Went after the 3-2 pitch and singled sharply to center.
Well, George is averaging a base hit a game since the All-Star break. He needs to pick up the pace a little bit to get his 3,000 this year, but it's always good to see him get off to a good start in the ball game. The solid line drive right back up the middle. Now he's looking at the possibility of a multiple hit game before it's over.
Kevin McReynolds up there now. His average is at 248 with 12 homers and 43 runs batted in. But Kevin's been struggling a bit. 0 for 6 last night, just 1 hit in his last 18 tries. The whole Royal team has had a power outage of late. The last Royal home run was hit by this gentleman, Kevin McReynolds, but it was on July the 9th.
Kevin was on a pretty good stretch there in the early part of July as far as home runs, RBIs. He was a hot hitter at that time, but as you mentioned, he has cooled down recently.
Now 3-0. Scott Scudder, former #1 draft pick of the Reds back in '86 after he had a fabulous high school career down in Texas. The player of the year there in '86. Went 19-0 in his senior year with 205 strikeouts in 120 innings. That's phenomenal.
That's a lot of ball games for a high school pitcher to get to 100.
Isn't it? ...120 innings, but not games. 120 innings.
You get over 100 innings, you're loading up.
Yes, you are. Three and 1 now to McReynolds with Wally Joyner on deck. And he walked him. So McReynolds, who leads the Royals in that department, gets another free pass. 2 aboard now for Joyner.
Leads the Royals in walks and among the top 10 in the American League in walks. And regardless of how he's hit the ball throughout the year, whether he's been hot or cold, he has always been a very disciplined hitter. You've got to throw him strikes to get him out.
Wally Joyner up there has a 7-game hitting streak working. Extended it by going 1 for 5 last night. It really has been a fairly soft streak for Wally. He's only batted .259 during that 7-game string. RBI opportunity for Joyner here. He's driven in 43 on the season. Fouls it away. Royals facing Scott Scudder for the 3rd time this year. He is 0-1 against him with 2 no decisions. An ERA, though, of 2.63. Left the breaking ball high. Scudder lost his last start in Kansas City 4-3, but pitched pretty well, giving 6 hits and 3 runs in 7 innings. The start before that, he was downright horrible at Texas, July the 9th. Got knocked out in the 2nd inning, giving up 7 runs. He walked 5 men in an inning and 2/3 that day. Now the pitching coach, Rick Adair, is out to talk with him.
The Indians will tell you that in his start down in Texas, he really struggled with his mechanics. And you talk about the walks getting behind the Texas Rangers. Of course, with the offensive lineup that they've got, they can put a thumping on you in a big hurry unless you come out with pretty good stuff and command of it.
Scudder said he's glad that start didn't come at home. Fans here can be a little tough, a little bit impatient. Although Scudder will tell you he doesn't mind getting booed. He is a basketball referee. Refs high school and junior college games in the off-season. Says he's plenty accustomed to hearing the boos. Dumped down the left field line, but foul. Rusty Meacham showing his fielding prowess down there. See the newest Royal pitcher in the background there, the Panamanian Express, Juan Berenguer.
Looking at his statistics, and when he played with the Royals earlier, I thought he spent the entire year with us, but he spent, what, half a season? Like in the early 80s?
It wasn't a very long stay.
No, it wasn't. Came out throwing hard the other night. Didn't take him long to get into a ball game.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out here. 2 men aboard for Wally Joyner.
This time last night, we were already in the 3rd inning.
That's for sure. That game was zipping along last night, courtesy of Rod Nichols
and Kevin Apier.
Right at Baerga. He throws out Joyner. The Royals leave a couple on in the 1st. Jeffries is. Lofton, the league's best bunter, 16 or 17 bunt hits already. Got one last night.
And you talk about Jeffries in tight at 3rd. He also forces the rest of the infield in. Not only Jeffries at 3rd, you got Joyner at 1st is in tight, and the middle infielders will try to slap the ball by the mound or drag it by the mound. And many times will force the second baseman to field it, as he did last night. So he forces the middle infielders into almost double play depth.
And if Lofton can hit the ball down either line, he's got a shot at a triple with his great speed if he gets it over the infield. 17 triples in AAA ball last year, and he starts off tonight's game with a single to right. Already has stolen 32 bases in this his rookie season. Here comes Felix Fermin. Fermin, always a candidate to sacrifice Lofton to second base. Fermin, one of the game's better bunters. In fact, he has laid down 65 successful sacrifice bunts in the last 3.5 seasons.
He's also a hit and run candidate. He hits behind the runner well.
Lofton with a bluff towards second. Fermin takes a strike. One reason he's such a good hit and run candidate is he almost never strikes out. Through his career, he has whiffed about once every 17, 18 times up. Takes low, a ball and a strike down.
A lot of times you might think, Denny, that being the number 2 hitter behind a speedy leadoff guy like Lofton would be an ideal situation because you divert the attention of the pitcher. You know you're going to get a lot of fastballs. But you just see right there, he's taking a couple pitches, giving Lofton a chance to steal. So many times you're already down on the count before you ever get a chance to swing the bat.
Now they throw the pitch out, but Lofton wasn't going, so it's 2-1.
Critical thing for the Royals right here is Aquino's release time on delivering the ball to the plate. He's not very quick out of his stretch.
Lofton again bluffed towards second. Maybe should have gone because they get the double play with the comebacker to Aquino. 1-6-3 on the double play.
Ball sharply hit back at Aquino, and once they get the lead man at second base, this is an easy double play. And Hopper right back to him, able to get the ball to Howard in time so that he can unload before Lofton ever gets on him.
2 out, none on now for Carlos Baerga. Tony Aquino made his first appearance since April the 10th last week against the Indians in Kansas City, and Baerga lit him up with a home run in the 1st inning. Tony came out throwing a lot of changeups in that ball game.
And Guy Hansen talked to him about that in his workout in between starts. The thought was at the time that Aquino many times doesn't give himself enough credit for his fastball. It's too much emphasis on the breaking ball and straight changeup. There's another off-speed pitch and the line drive to right.
Second solid base hit of the inning for the Indians. Baerga, who came in hitting .317, adds to his total. He was 0 for 4 with the sacrifice fly last night. There's Guy Hansen, the pitching coach.
And in that workout between starts, he also had Brent Main and Bob Melvin, a couple catchers out there with him, trying to convince Aquino of his quality fastball. We might look for him to throw more fastballs tonight than what Royals fans saw out of him last Sunday.
Here comes Albert Bell, who was 0 for 5 in last night's game. If Aquino's first pitch is anywhere near the plate, look for Bell to go for it. He likes to hit that first pitch and does it very well. Last season, when he missed 5 weeks and still drove in 95 runs, he hit .342 on the first pitch that he swung at. The ball outside. into center field. The third solid hit of the inning for the Indians. So each team getting runners at first and second in the opening inning. And Aquino now will work to Paul Sorrento, the big first baseman.
Denny, I think you're always concerned when your pitcher is giving up line drives like Aquino has in this inning. But as long as you're holding people to singles, you're going to have to bunch a number of them to score runs. Of course, the way the ball game went last night, and this one has the chance to be the same way. The wind is blowing in again tonight and very slow turf. One run might mean a lot.
Paul Sorrento already has 11 home runs this year, 2 more than he had in his entire career in the big leagues coming into this season. He had gotten some chances with the Minnesota Twins, but never any prolonged playing time over there. There's the 1-0 pitch to him from Aquino. And after a high pitch, lines it to left, but McReynolds is there. And each team strand 2 in the first.
UDAF TV, Kansas City.
Here comes the 0-2 to Wilkerson. Another chance for Baerga at second. He has been a machine. 3 up, 3 down for the Royals in the second.
Again throwing until the club gets to Toronto. Not going to get off the disabled list as quickly as he had hoped.
Now Glenn Allen Hill up there. Takes a strike. Hill 1 for 5 in last night's game. His average at 260 with 9 homers. His hit last night was a 2-bagger, and in fact his last 3 hits have all been doubles. There, how many pitches does Aquino have? A lot of shaking of the head. Finally gets together with Maine and got a breaking ball by him. Glenn Allen Hill is making much more consistent contact now than he did earlier in his career. 1985, back in Class A ball, he struck out 211 times in one season. Every year, it seems, he makes a little bit better contact.
Well, got a piece of Brent Maine behind the plate. I believe the inside of the left leg. He also has a nasty bruise on his right shoulder. He got hit by a foul tip last weekend in Kansas City. Pitchers really take a pounding, don't they?
I'm telling you. They say that's why a lot of kids don't want to go into catching these days. Parents just nix it early on because the kids are going to come home with some bruises.
I don't think there's any question that it takes a special mentality to go behind the plate, but you get the kid who's kind of rugged. That's a great place to play. You're in on every play.
If you've got any take charge part of your personality, it's going to come out by catching, that's for sure.
Maine's got a lot of that take charge in him.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Glenn Allen Hill. 1 out, nobody on in the second.
I used to say that catching was the quickest way to the major leagues once you got signed. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I think relief pitching now, the way they specialize so much, if you've got one really dominant pitch, sometimes you can get by with just that and maybe something off speed that you can maybe just get over the plate a little bit.
Woo. Greg Jeffries just headed off a bullet toward left field. That may be the hardest hit ball of the night.
Well, they call it the hot corner for a reason. Unfortunately for Greg, he was playing way back at third. It's another off-speed pitch. Allen Hill, if he can make that consistent contact, he'll usually drive the ball and got a chance to have a good year.
That brings up Brooke Jacoby, who had a couple of solid singles in last night's game. Aquino floats it over for a strike. He hadn't struck out anybody as yet. Getting plenty of ground ball. Wilkerson to Joyner. Still no score after 2.
In our universe, there is always the unknown, the unpredictable. All we can do is prepare for it.
AT&T is now installing Fast Start. It can detect a cable cut instantly, so 800 calls can get back in minutes instead of hours.
We can send flowers for any occasion, anywhere, but only if our 800 service is up and running. Our 800 service isn't just a phone line, it's a lifeline.
I miss you.
AT&T has the most reliable 800 service, period.
AT&T. Call us.
Hey, some of the great things of the 50s are still around, like the 50s combo at Sonic. A regular old-fashioned Sonic burger, great tasting fries, and a medium Coke Classic for just $2.29.
It's the best of the 50s.
The 50s combo, it's great, even if you're stuck in the 90s.
Royals Major League Baseball. It's here, and Price Chopper is a proud sponsor of all the exciting action. Week after week, Price Chopper will drop your total food bill with the best food at the best price every day. Price Chopper has your favorite national brand grocery, deli, bakery, produce, and...
Brian was out early for a session with his dad today. A lot of extra swings. He popped up to the second baseman to begin the ball game. Hits this one high in the air. That one's going to reach the seats. Again tonight, the wind is blowing straight in from center field. And it's going to be tough to get a ball out of here.
And it's going to be tough to get a ball into the gap with that very wet outfield grass. And so far tonight, the infield has been slow as well. Talk about Hal being working with Brian this afternoon. You notice when Brian is in the cage or working against the screen, it's not only Hal, but it's Smokey Garrett. Hal will tell you that he can work with Brian for a while, but sooner or later that father-son relationship gets in the way, and you got to have somebody else there to help you.
Well, I can't imagine that.
They handle it well. This afternoon they are working on trying to keep his hands back a little better. They feel that he's been lunging a little bit more recently.
Off the glove of Sorrento and on in to right field. And that's going to be Brian McRae's first hit in 20 tries.
Tough chance for Sorrento, but you can almost tell by the way an infielder tracks a ball whether they've got it under control or whether they're in trouble. And when you see him retreating like that, it spells trouble. He came in trying to get to the short hop. Once he realized he couldn't get to that hop, tried to play it back. Couldn't get that done either.
So with McRae at first and one out, Greg Jeffries up there looking for his 100th hit of the season. The Indians pitch out, but McRae wasn't going. No runs, 2 hits for the Royals. No runs, 3 hits for Cleveland so far. Neither team has committed an error. McRae with a pretty good lead at first now. And there he goes. Nope. He backtracks. Alomar throws behind him and throws it into right field. The ball killed in the puddles down there, but no further advance by McRae. Ryan got very bold with his bluff towards second base, and Alomar, who likes to throw it around, tried to throw it behind him to get him.
I think Brian was going on the pitch, but didn't feel he got the kind of jump that he was going to need. And it's a good thing because Alomar got a great pitch to handle. Snap throw to first. And the ball kills in a puddle down behind first base, and it was the reputation of Witten that kept Brian from advancing to third. Ball gets by, and he knows he's got second base easily, but held up because of the strong arm of Witten, the right fielder.
Witten's already thrown out 9 base runners this year. The Indians outfield leads the league in that department. It's 3-0 to Jeffries. Right down in there. Pulled on the ground into right field. McRae's going to try to score on Whitten. Here comes the throw. Oh, Alomar did a great job of blocking the plate, but McRae somehow got in there, and he is safe for the first run of the ball game. On to second on the throw goes Greg Jeffries, so he continues his hitting streak. That makes it 6 in a row, and the Royals lead in the ball game 1-0.
I mean, this is a great major league play. The Indians are trying to take away the hole on the right side by playing Sorrento off of the line. See, he's way off the line trying to cut down that hole, but Jeffries pumps the ball through it. Now you've got the strongest arm in the American League from right field. And watch Alomar block off the plate. Just exactly like you're supposed to do it. He's got the leg out there in front, shielding off the plate. And I think it stung Brian a little bit. He slid into those shin guards and limped going back to the bench.
That's a tremendous job by McRae to get his hand around there and get it on the plate.
Didn't get there.
You betcha. Now here's George Brett, who singled to center field for the Royals' first hit of the night in the opening inning. Off-speed pitch for a strike. One just missed. Jeffries leading away from second. A run in, 1 out here in the third. The RBI by Jeffries was his 41st of the season. One and 2 the count on Brett. George drives it to center field. Lofton racing back. Jeffries will tag at second, and he's heading for third. Makes it standing up. So Greg now 90 feet away from the Royals' second run of the game, but 2 out with Kevin McReynolds coming up. Scott Scudder will work out of the stretch with Jeffries at third and McReynolds at the plate with 2 out. McReynolds walked his first time in. Slider for a strike.
Seen a lot more breaking balls tonight out of Scudder than they saw last night out of Nichols. Just went at him with the fastball, worked very quickly. Scudder slowing down the tempo a little bit more this evening.
Fouled back by McReynolds. Tomorrow night here, Mike Boddicker. A pitch for the Royals, still looking for his first victory of the year. He'll go against Dennis Cook, and then Sunday afternoon, the finale of the series, Hipólito Pichardo against Jose Mesa. Two and 2 now to McReynolds. Too high with a breaking ball. 3 and 2. Wally Joyner would be next if McReynolds could extend the inning. Kevin hitting from as deep as he can get in the box. Goes after the fastball low and away and fouls it to the first baseman Sorrento. That's the inning, but the Royals grab the lead 1-0. Indians have not had a whole lot to cheer about of late. They have gone 25 innings scoring just 2 runs, but those who stayed around here long enough last night into the 14th inning saw them win the ball game 1-0. They trail in this one 1-0 as Sandy Alomar leads off the Cleveland third against Tony Aquino. Aquino has really done a good job for the Royals the last 2 years. 12-5 record, an ERA of about 3.3. Had the injury problem this year, the rib cage problem. Alomar pulls it down the line, fair ball. Let's see if he'll go for 2. Very soggy outfield. McReynolds throw to second, not in time. A leadoff double for Sandy Alomar. That's the 4th Indian hit of the game, but their first extra base hit.
In last night's ball game, Kevin Apier stayed with hard stuff against Alomar, trying to throw the ball by him and handled him well. Aquino trying to work inside right there with the fastball. And Alomar able to get the bat out in front and get it down into the left field corner. Close play at second. The ball bounced high, and Wilkerson unable to get the tag down in time.
Now Kenny Lofton at the plate. Single in the first. Lofton makes a nice bunt. Aquino's throw to first, not in time. Wilkerson had to reach for it. I'm sure they'll score that a base hit. His 18th bunt hit of the year.
2 purposes for this bunt. First of all, advance a base runner, get him over to third base. Scoring position now just 90 feet away, and with his speed, you don't just sacrifice. You've always got the possibility of the base hit, and the throw being just wide allowed Lofton the time to get there.
It is indeed scored a hit. Felix Fermin at the plate now. Lofton has been some kind of rookie. He's kept his average up over that 250 mark all season long. Came in tonight at 255 and is 2 for 2. Fermin hit into a double play his first try tonight. Fermin's been doing a good job in limited duty with the Indians. In his last 14 games, he's been a .370 hitter. That's a ball. Indians revamping their infield a little bit tonight with Fermin starting at shortstop. Jacoby in place of Jim Thome at third. Of course, Thome was injured early in last night's game when he ran into the tarp chasing a foul ball. They did not have the end of the tarp covered, and we noticed tonight they do have a big piece of foam rubber wrapped over the tarp roller to prevent the same kind of injury that Thome suffered last night. There's a look at that piece of foam rubber that they've put over the end of the tarp roller.
Looks like it's going to cost Thome a couple days. He was limping badly during infield practice that the Indians took this evening. They'll list him as day-to-day.
Did x-ray his shin last night. The x-rays were negative. Oh, they had him picked, and it worked. You don't see that play work too often. The old Steve Busby, Dan Quisenberry move, fake to third, throw to first, and it got the rookie, Kenny Lofton, that time.
Well, the reason it got him, it wasn't fooled by the move. He was stealing on the first move that the pitcher made. He took 3 steps to second base. Once he saw what was happening, he tried to get back in time. So the move to third was part of it, but the fact that he was stealing on that particular pitch is what got him picked off. Key out for the Royals right there.
1 down, a runner still at third. Royals playing their middle infield back now, charging from the corners. That went off Aquino. Grabbed by Howard. He throws him out, but the run scores to tie the game at 1. An RBI for Felix Fermin. Alomar comes across to make it a 1-1 ball game, and now Royals trainer Nick Swartz on his way out to check on Aquino.
That goes a 1-6-3 putout. Aquino gets an assist. Fermin, a solid contact hitter. You mentioned the ratio of strikeouts for him, and it's very rare that he strikes out. He good bet to put the ball in play. Netted the RBI for the Indians. Alomar crosses the plate, and this game is tied.
Carlos Baerga will bat with the bases empty now. That's the way the Royals like to see him. He's always been tough on them, hitting well over 300 in his career. But Baerga has been hitting well over 400 for the Indians in his last 26 games. He has really been on fire. They were able to cool him off last night to some degree. He did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly, the game's only run as a matter of fact, but was 0 for 4 in the game.
One of our sponsors is Long John Silver's, where right now you'll find the chicken and fish combo for just $1.99. Go fish at Long John Silver's.
5 hits for the Indians already in the first 3 innings. Game tied at 1. Fly ball center field should be no problem for Brian McRae. But Cleveland does get the game tied at a run apiece through 3.
Win in Maine in the Royals' half of the 4th inning. Scott Scudder back out to the mound for the Indians. He's gone all the way. Has allowed a run on 3 hits. Only grounded out his first time in there, working on a 7-game hitting streak. Contact there. It's 0-2. Make plans now to see your local Ford dealer. That's where you'll find the 1992 Ford Escort. It's America's best-selling compact car. Be prepared to be impressed. Scudder with the 0-2. Bounces one in the dirt. Nice stop by Alomar. A ball and 2 strikes here. Tonight's game is a rematch of the Sunday afternoon contest in Kansas City. Aquino against Scudder. Scudder drew a no decision in that ball game. He worked a little over 7 innings. Indians avoided the sweep that afternoon. One hopper back to the mound. Scudder off the hill to toss out Joyner.
Wally Joyner said when he was going through that long dry spell that he felt he was opening up too soon with that front shoulder, and it looked like those last 2 swings again he was pulling off the ball. It's something that Wally has to continue to remind himself.
Hey, you talked about a 7-game hitting streak and it being a meager when he's had just 7 hits in that time and hitting under 260, so he's actually hurt his average in that 7-game stretch. High in the air down in the right field corner, over into foul territory is Mark Whitten, but he'll run out of room. Bounce behind the Cleveland Indian bullpen. Gwynn flied to left his first time in there tonight. Once again back to the mound. Scudder off quickly, and a couple little soft bouncers back to Scudder. He's able to record the first 2 outs himself. You mentioned that Minnesota shut out Boston and Roger Clemens 5-0 in the first game of a doubleheader. The Twins also scored a couple runs in the top of the first in game number 2. So the Twins hoping to sweep the Red Sox this evening. Texas has a 2-0 lead over Baltimore. Orioles are hitting in the bottom of the 3rd. Brent Mayne was out on a ground ball his first time up. Just about everybody in the Western Division lost last night. Of course, the Royals lost in 14 innings here in Cleveland. California and Seattle, the 2 clubs right behind the Royals, lost. The only team in the West that won last night, the White Sox, who were just ahead of the Royals, won their game. And the first 3 teams in the West lost last night: Minnesota, Oakland, and Texas. So not much took place on the positive side. Western Division play last night. Here comes the 1-1. All ball left side.
Keep in mind that Wednesday, August the 5th is camera night at Royal Stadium from 6 to 6:55 prior to the game against the California Angels. All camera carrying fans will be permitted on the field to take pictures of their favorite Royals players. That's August the 5th, camera night at the stadium.
It's always been a very popular promotion for the fans. Bring the cameras that night and down on the field and see your hometown guys up close. Swung at a bad pitch and down on strikes. The Royals are gone in order in the 4th, still tied at 1 each.
So, you think you've seen every car deal under the sun, huh?
You ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something that you never forget, baby. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Just ain't seen nothing yet. Supreme.
to Taco Bell for breakfast, too. All your morning favorites served border style.
In our universe, there was always the unknown, the unpredictable. All we can do is prepare for it.
AT&T is now installing Fast Start. It can detect a cable cut instantly, so 800 calls can get back in minutes instead of hours.
We can send flowers for any occasion, anywhere, but only if our 800 service is up and running. Our 800 service isn't just a phone line, it's a lifeline.
I miss you.
AT&T has the most reliable 800 service, period.
AT&T. Call us. Denise Workman is the grand prize winner of a trip to Chicago to see the Royals on August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Congratulations from Coca-Cola and News Channel 4.
Day in, day out, at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of a Bud Light.
Louis Aquino making his second start and appearance since coming off the disabled list. Has pitched very effectively here this evening against the Indians. It's the second time through their order for him. He'll face Albert Bell, Paul Sorrento, and Mark Whitten. Albert Bell singled to center field back in the first inning.
I didn't like the looks of that swing that he got against Aquino. He took a real rip against him. Let's hope that Tony can keep him a little more off balance this time.
I thought he had good swings against Appier last night. Now, he didn't have a lot of success. Appier had the fastball by him. He was unable to catch up with it, and then he chased the slider out of the strike zone, but swung it about like that, but having a lot more success this evening. He's now 2 for 2.
And again, he goes after the first pitch.
He covers the plate extremely well, and I made that comment last night that he does have it covered, so Appier is able to get ahead in the count and able to get him on the sliders. But tonight, Louis Aquino unable to get ahead. So Albert Bell opens the Indians half of the fourth with a single to center field, and here is Sorrento. Hit the ball hard his first time up and lined out to the left fielder McReynolds. Speed pitch is down and away. Sorrento started in the Twins organization, tried to work in behind Kent Hrbek. Actually got some time with the Twins when Hrbek spent time on the disabled list. Sorrento now 26 years old. Sharply hit on the ground. That's Wilkerson second to Howard for one. Back to first. The twin killing. Clears the bases for the Royals. Double play goes 4-6-3. Second double play the Royals have turned this evening. Also got one back in the first inning. Take another look.
Turned very nicely, delivered perfectly by Wilkerson to Howard. Gave him a good throw to handle, and it's the easy double play.
It's probably what Howard does the best, turning into double play. Loop to short, and a fine play by Howard. Ranging to his left and made the over-the-shoulder grab right at the edge of the outfield grass. The Indians get a base hit, but this is Scudder's third start against the Royals this year. He's worked out of the bullpen one time this season.
Not very well, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Gave up a bunch of runs that night, but been pretty successful as a starter. A ball and 2 strikes here. I mentioned a former #1 pick with Cincinnati. We got a pretty solid rotation with Greg Swindell over there, but didn't Tom Browning just go on the disabled list?
Just had surgery, going to miss the rest of the year.
Right by Sorrento at first base. He knocks it down, but unable to recover in time to throw out Wilkerson. They're going to call it a base hit. It looked like Sorrento got to the ball, but unable to make the play.
Been a tough night for Sorrento. This is the second Royal hit to go off of his glove. Brian McRae had one earlier.
He's been playing everybody way off the line.
He really wrestled for that one. It wasn't pretty.
That'll bring up David Howard. If the Royals are going to try to advance a base runner here, David out on a fly ball to center field his first time in there. 1 for 5 in the series.
The way Sorrento's gone, I'd have Howard drag one his way.
Kobe in tight at third. Indians have pitched out quite a bit in this series, trying to anticipate what Hal McRae White might do. Haven't pitched out on any of the right pitches yet. The Royals haven't been running. Haven't been bunting any time yet in this series. And this is the final series of the season with these two ball clubs. May this year it was 2 games here and at Kansas City. 4 games last week in Royal Stadium and another 4 here this weekend in Cleveland Stadium. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Howard's hit in 4 straight games. Garrett down at third base going through a series of signs. This would be a good pitch for the Royals to do something if they're going to do something in this at bat. Scudder needs to throw a strike. Wilkerson at first runs pretty well. Average lead right now. He's not going anywhere. And Howard lifts one to left field. That's Glenn Allen Hill starting back. There now to make the catch in the first out in the inning. Wilkerson returns to first. Our next TV game will be in a couple weeks. The Royals will be at Seattle to take on the Mariners. That's Monday, August 10th at 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time from the Kingdome in Seattle on most of these network stations. Here's Brian McRae. Scored the Royals' only run. He got on a base hit back in the 3rd. Popped up his first time in tonight, so he's 1 for 2. Brian now 1 for 7 in the series. He broke an 0 for 19 skid with his base hit his last time up. Just off the outside edge. Royals now have 4 hits. The Indians have a half a dozen. 14 innings last night. A total of 12 hits collected by both of the teams. They're evenly divided at 6. Brian's average now up to 224. Almost threw it away at first. Brian's season last year was pretty evenly divided. Even though he got off to the slow start, he was able to recoup things just before the All-Star break. He hit in the mid-250s the first half of the year and right at 260 the second half. There goes the runner. Hit towards left, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Wilkerson's going to have to hold on at second base, but the hit and run was on, and the Royals made it work. Brian McRae with his 2nd hit of the night. Runners now on first and second, still just 1 out.
So all that early batting practice today paying off for Brian McRae. He just went with the pitch. It was tailing away from him and lined it to left field. That didn't look at all like any of the swings we saw him take in early BP today's split, but he certainly got the job done.
He's trying to protect the base runner. Got the base hit right there. Now here's Greg Jeffries. He's 1 for 2 tonight with an RBI. Greg has hit in 6 straight games. Speed pitch is up too high. It's ball 1. Jeffries has hit right at 380 during his 6-game hitting streak. So he still has the longest hitting streak in the American League this year at 18 straight. McReynolds is next with 17. Breaking ball caught the plate at the knees. It's a ball and a strike here. Jeffries' average continues to climb. He's now at 278. Royals trying to draw even in the series. They lost here last night 1-0 in 14 innings. Field for Jeffries is straight up. Medium depth. Royals have only gotten 4 balls out of the infield other than their base hits. Scudder's given up a lot of ground balls here tonight. And another one. That's by Erga, the second baseman, to Fermin for 1, back to first in time. The Indians turn it over and get out of a jam here in the 5th. They're still tied at
1. For you so far in this series, just 3 runs scored in 18.5 innings. Split.
Denny, the Royals have had pretty good pitching lately. You know, they're back up to 4th in the American League in team ERA, so I think their pitching staff is starting to come together. Louis Aquino's been impressive this evening. We're getting into the middle innings now, and I guess this is a critical part for Louis and also for the Royals. Just his 2nd start of the year, and you've got to wonder about his endurance. They'll certainly have him on a pitch count this evening. Swing there from Glenn Allen Hill, no contact, so Aquino ahead in the count. Here, no balls and a strike. He'll hit the ball hard at Jeffries his first time in. Be followed by Jacoby and Alomar. Once again in on the hands. Roller picked up by Jeffries, and that's the first out of the 5th. Glenn Allen Hill grounds out 5-3. He's now 0 for 2 tonight and 1 for 7 in the series. Now here's Brooks Jacoby filling in at third base for Jim Thome, who ran into the tarp last night down behind the Royals dugout. Bruised his shin severely, and he's listed as day-to-day. Jacoby had a pretty good night last night. He came on and got a couple hits. It was after the first pitch, and Skies went into short center field. Brian McRae on the run. He's there now and records the second out. So quickly 2 outs here in the 5th. Jacoby pops out to short center. Louis Aquino's now retired 4 straight. Here's the Indians catcher, Sandy Alomar. Double down in the left field corner his first time in, and also scored the Indians' only run. Mike Hargrove was telling me before the game that he's in no big hurry to move Alomar out of the number 9 slot in the batting order. Thinks that there are some good RBI opportunities in that position in the Indians' order with the people they have in front of him. And they think it will also help rest him. Won't get quite as many at-bats down there, and at least early on in the game with him catching every night, that he'll be able to relax the first couple innings before he comes to the plate.
Well, there have been a lot of years recently when the Indians have had a lot of weak spots in that batting order, and you wouldn't have a hitter of his caliber in the number 9 spot, but not so anymore.
He's down on the count here, a ball and 2 strikes. Bounces one off of that tarp that Thome ran into last night.
Right now at Long John Silver's, you'll find the fish and shrimp combo for just $1.99. Go fish at Long John Silver's.
Louis Aquino's been very effective through the first 4 2/3 here tonight. Delivers the 1-2. Slow curveball is chopped foul into the Royals dugout. Mike Boddicker will work here tomorrow night. Game 3 of the 4-game series. He'll oppose left-hander Dennis Cook. Then on Sunday afternoon, it's Hipólito Pichardo against Jose Mesa. Mesa earlier this year with the Baltimore Orioles. Sandy Alomar, a 3-time All-Star already in his career. Drops down and throws sidearm in the hole. David Howard to his right, unable to make the play. He would have had a chance to throw him out, but it would have been a great play to do it. Alomar on with the infield single. He's now 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, a third of the total hits in last night's game never got out of the infield, and we're seeing more of the same tonight with infield hits.
Is he blowing a bubble while he's making that play?
Yep.
How about that? So Alomar on at first with 2 outs. Back to the top of the order, and here's Kenny Lofton. 2 for 2 tonight. Single to right, and a bunt single his last time up. Last time up, he was attempting to bunt a man over to third base, but he got a good one down and beat out the throw. Lofton's average now at 260. He's climbed up 5 points already this evening. Speed pitch misses down and away. It's a ball and a strike.
I remember when Dale Swaim of the Brewers used to do that all the time. Split blow bubbles when he was sliding into second base or turning a double play on the infield. I never could figure out how he could maintain the concentration when blow the bubble.
Maybe it's something about shortstop. You remember UL Washington always had the toothpick.
Yeah.
There's the infield pop-up. That'll be the inning. Still tied at 1.
Okay, pay attention. It's time for a little geography lesson. How do you get to St. Louis from Kansas City? You go southwest. And what about Los Angeles? Go southwest, of course. And Houston? Southwest. In fact, you can get to all these cities non-stop or with one quick stop just by flying Southwest Airlines. See, geography's easier than you thought. Next time we'll do economics. Always the lowest unrestricted fares to all 29 cities. Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
Hello. We've just discovered an artifact used by Columbus himself on board the Nina. This ancient monk, remarkably well preserved, bears a detailed rendering of the vessel, plus an actual map of the voyage.
Hey, wait a minute. That's a mug from Long John Silver's. Just 99 cents with any meal. I have a complete set.
Oh, remarkable. We've just discovered a complete set of artifacts.
Go fish, Long John Silver's.
Go for Long John's $1.99 fish and chicken combo with crispy fries.
There's just a word, and there's no mistake in it.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
All right, let's sample a bottle. I'll make it two. One for you and one for me.
Now we get warm. Diet Coke.
One of our sponsors is Southwest Airlines, providing low, unrestricted fares to many exciting destinations. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart.
Fans enjoying a very comfortable evening this evening here at Cleveland Stadium. It rained most of the day. Temperature in the upper 60s when this game got started, and looks like the rain might hold off for the rest of this contest.
You're right at noon today, about the biggest, darkest cloud I have ever seen rolled in off the lake. Had a lot of rain in it.
You open up the curtains. The room didn't get any lighter, did it?
Hey, I was up. Come on.
Up at the crack of noon. Nice going. Here's George Brett, 1 for 2 this evening. He singled back in the first. He'll be followed by McReynolds and Joyner. Scott Scudder working through the heart of the Royals order here in the 6th inning. You remember back in the offseason when Hal McRae made the announcement that George Brett was going to move from the 3rd spot down to number 5, and of course they had their conversation in spring training. He handled it very well, talking about their young players on the club that should be carrying the club, and George should enjoy this year of his career, and he thought he'd really be able to help him in number 5. There's always so much put into the start of the season. What's the batting order going to be? What's the rotation going to be? Players always forget that there are changes during the season, both in the order, the rotation, positions on the roster. Talked about the Indians last year using 53 players in the regular season. They've made a lot of changes again this year, and here's George back in the 3-hole. 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. George has now hit in 8 of 10 ball games. At a red hot clip. He's hitting about 270 during that stretch. More of an upright stance off the pitcher's glove and back out into center field. So George Brett has a 2-hit ball game going.
You know, unfortunately, Split, George is probably going to be remembered in part for that tantrum that he threw after his Pine Tar home run was disallowed by Tim McClellan in New York. But George, for the most part, through his career, has gotten along very well with umpires. You just saw him jawing a little bit there with the young umpire, Gary Cedarstrom, about that second strike call. And there was laughter involved, and now George talking a little bit to Ken Kaiser. I think the umpires have great respect for him, and vice versa.
Well, they really do, and that tantrum that he threw on the Pine Tar game was because he's a great competitor. He thought that they were disallowing the home run because of cork in his bat. That's why he was so upset. Here's Kevin McReynolds. Walked back in the first, popped up in the third. George has a short lead at first, and McReynolds takes ball 1. McReynolds leads the club in multiple hit games. He's got 25 multi-hit games, but all of them have been 2-hit jobs. Bill has not had a 3 or a 4-hit game this year. He's picked up 20 doubles. They play him to pull both in the infield and the outfield. Let's look at the Indians' defense. Kevin's still hitless in the series. He's 0 for 7. All back. And the Alomar back to give a look, but it's well back into the seats. Indians came in 16 games under 500. Last place in the American League East. They fell to 16 under very quickly in the first 2 months of the season, but they've been right about 500 ever since. of the stretch. Delivers the breaking ball just off the outside edge, and it's 2-1. The wind continues to blow in over the center field scoreboard. Ball not carrying well here again this evening. Red Sox have come up with a couple runs of their own in the bottom of the first inning in game 2 against the Twins. They're tied up at 2 each now in the second. Loop towards right. If it's fair, it could be something for McReynolds. Just foul. No way that Mark Whitten was going to be able to catch up to that one. George Brett set sail and was already well on his way to third base, but the ball went foul, and he'll do it again with the count 2-2. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Royals Television Network.
This is WDAF-TV, Kansas City.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Kevin McReynolds, the Royals left fielder. In the top of the 6th inning, tied up at 1 each. The Indians have out-hit the Royals 7-6. In a well-played series so far, the pitchers have dominated. Full count here. Royals struggling to get their offense going. See if they send Brett. Reynolds a pretty good bet to make contact. Scudder not necessarily a strikeout pitcher. There goes George. This ball is looped towards right, and it's going to drop in. Brett had to hold up for a second at second base to make sure that it was going to fall. Shaking his head now, thinking he maybe could have made a better judgment. But the Royals in business here with runners on first and second. Still nobody out.
And the more you see of Kevin McReynolds, the more you appreciate his approach to hitting. Now, look at George's reaction. Why didn't I go? Now he's going to be mad.
George has always been a good base runner. How many times throughout his career did we see him make the turn at first and head for second base and say, oh, no, not now, George, but he'd make it most of the time. He's made very few base running mistakes throughout his career. Now here's Wally Joyner. Wally 0 for 2 with a couple ground balls so far. Still nobody working in the Cleveland bullpen. Nice play by Alomar. He blocks balls extremely well. Big guy behind the plate. He's listed at 6'5" and weighs close to 220 pounds. Very durable and an outstanding defensive catcher. He just smothers the pitch. Catchers need to get their bodies in front of the ball, but also get over the top of it to keep it down right in front of them. Here's Scudder's 1-0. Sharply hit on the ground. That's Fermin, the shortstop, to Baerga for 1. Back to first. Indians turn it over again. Brett moves on over to third base, but he's there now with 2 outs. Double play goes 6-4-3.
2 big double plays in each of the last 2 innings have kept the Royals off the board. This one was tailor-made.
Royals have turned 3 double plays tonight, and that's the Indians' second one. Now here's Chris Gwynn. He's 0 for 2. Royals will need a base hit to score a run here. Gwynn getting a lot of at-bats since coming off the disabled list at the All-Star break.
We have a winner in our trivia contest split. The question was, what Royal led the 1980 World Series?
Top of the 6th inning here. Just missed the outside corner with the breaking ball. Indians wearing the old-time hats. Have a big promotion coming up here in a couple days where they'll wear their uniforms from 1932. That's 60 years ago. First game here at Cleveland Stadium.
They're also going to have a big promotion honoring Rocky Colavito coming up in August. Maybe the all-time most popular player here at Cleveland Stadium. I know I was devastated as a kid when they traded Rocky to the Detroit Tigers for the American League batting champion Harvey Keene just prior to the 1960 season.
I enjoyed his stay with the Royals when he was the hitting instructor. He taught George and Al McRae both a lot about hitting. Got him on an off-speed pitch. Strikes out Gwynn. The Royals strand a runner on third. We're still tied at 1. It goes 6-3. So Aquino has retired 7 out of the last hitters to face him, and here's Albert Bell. He's had great swings so far. 2 for 2, a couple line drive singles to center. Bell now has his average up to 257. Guess you really don't mind giving up singles to him. You just need to keep him in the ballpark. He's unloaded 19 times already this year. Hitless here last night, but having some fun tonight. Takes an off-speed pitch over at the knees. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch runs him off the plate. Aquino dropped down that time to go low 3/4 with his delivery. Take another look. Now the 1-1 pitch. Fouled straight back, and Albert Bell had a big swing.
You don't want to get Albert angry here and see him charge the mound again. We've seen enough of that this season.
I think Neil Heaton put him in a position where he almost had to.
Absolutely. I think there was no choice. Even if he didn't have the temper he has, I think he'd have been on his way to the mound that night. Neil didn't just brush him back once, but twice, and there was no doubt about it.
We even saw mild-mannered Jamie Quirk go to the mound this year when a pitch went behind him, like Heaton threw at Bell. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count's even at 2-2. Nobody on, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, all tied up at 1. The hits are even at 7. Royals trying to draw even in this series. They lost 1-0 here last night. Foul ball left side.
Don't forget, the Chicken is coming to Kansas City. You can catch the hilarious performance of the famous Chicken Sunday, August the 2nd at Royal Stadium. Coca-Cola presents the Chicken at the 7:05 game that night against the Oakland A's.
I wonder what he did with the shark that he pulled out of the water fountain a couple years ago. He's got an expanded fountain there in Kansas City now. We'll work on that. Full count now to Albert Bell. Aquino trying to work his way through the 6th. Right back up the middle. The Royals had him played perfectly. That's Wilkerson, the second baseman. Indians out in order in the 6th. They're still tied at 1.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Do you need a big horse? Do you need a deep tan? Do you have to have a saddle? Do you have to have the gear? Well, the simple truth is you just gotta have the beer.
Bush beer, an easy drinking Bush Light. Have you got what it takes to be a mountain man?
What does it take to live a mountain man's life? Get smooth Bush beer is a drinking Bush Light.
A simple comparison between the Ford Taurus and the Honda Accord. With a 3-liter V6, the Ford Taurus has a lot to offer under the hood. With an Accord, you'll have to drop some power. The Taurus can hold 6 passengers comfortably. With the Accord, you'll have to drop a passenger. And since its introduction in 1986, there's been a Taurus on every car and driver top 10 list. Accord has been dropped from the list.
See your Ford dealer today and prepare to be impressed.
LensCrafters presents yet another major breakthrough, featherweight lenses.
Anything you can do for a really heavy prescription?
Try on featherweights. They're so light you hardly know you've got them on.
Featherweight lenses, lighter, slimmer, and oh so comfortable. Available only from LensCrafters in-store labs in about an hour. Featherweight lenses.
They're so comfortable. You know, I hardly know I've got them on.
Available in about an hour only from LensCrafters.
Call 1-800-522-LENS for the location near you.
Okay, but why Southwestern Bell?
Why? Well,
friends in high places and friends underground. And if you're in a jam, you know they'll be around. Your message is only as clear as the reception. So come on now, don't be shy. Just use your connection.
We're the people to call for communications equipment, services, and know-how. Southwestern Bell.
With Southwestern Bell, you get great connection.
See what I mean?
Time to head for the mountains and round up a round of that refreshingly smooth, ice-cold Busch beer. Better hurry back.
Cleveland right-hander Scott Scudder out there for his 7th inning of work. He's facing the lower third of the Royal Order, Maine, Wilkerson, and Howard. Scudder has not pitched a complete game yet this year. This one is tied at a run apiece. Each team with 7 hits. Maine with a good cut fouled it back.
Even though the temperatures are a little bit cool tonight, Denny, it's fairly muggy. This might not be the easiest night of the season to complete a ball game.
Brett Maine has had no success against Scudder. Grounded out and struck out. As a matter of fact, he is Scudder's only strikeout victim in the game. I take that back. He got Gwynn to end the 6th for number 2. Looks comfy, didn't it? Little looper to left. Glenn Allen Hill trying to make the sliding catch and can't do it. A big turn by Maine, and now he'll hustle back into first base. Good effort by Glenn Allen Hill, but it's a leadoff single for Maine in the 7th.
And Maine would probably like to have this decision be made again when he made the turn at first base. Hill with a good effort there. He keeps the ball in front of him. And he slides and can't find it. It's right underneath him, and Maine knows where it is, but he's unable to pick it up cleanly even when he goes back after it again.
Look at all the excess moisture out there after that heavy noonday storm here in Cleveland. That may have slowed Hill down just enough for Maine to dunk it in there. Now here's Wilkerson, who had a leadoff single in the 5th inning. The Royals disdained to bunt in that situation, and David Howard flied out to left field. And then the inning ended when, after McRae got a base hit, Greg Jeffries grounded into a double play. Double play also wiped out a Royal rally in the 6th. The 1-strike pitch to Wilkerson. It's a ball. Royals trying to win for the 18th time on the road this year against 30 losses so far. Smokey Garrett has gone through the signs for hitter and runner. Ted Power, a Kansas Stater, warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. He's done a good job for him. Pitch out, and again the Indians guess wrong. Certainly can't accuse the Indians of stealing the Royals signs in this series split.
They also do a pretty good job of advanced scouting. Been on the Royals recently and trying to pick out what they do, but we've seen a number of moves that they've made in this series and haven't been right yet.
Now the 2-1 pitch. Got it in on his fists a little bit, and another pop up to left field. Hill gets under this one for out number 1. So here comes David Howard. David 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of fly balls. Royals began the night 11 games under 500, 5th in the Western Division, 15.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins. The Twins made it 16 earlier this evening when they knocked off Boston in the first game of a double dip, 5-0 behind Erickson. Second game tied 2-2 in the 3rd. That's Kruger against Dobson. Ball 1 to Howard.
White Sox continue their series this evening at Milwaukee. They're trailing 1-0. Royals lost a game to them in the standings last night. Maybe they can get it back this evening.
Texas leading Baltimore 2-1 in the 6th. Jeff Fry, the rookie Texas second baseman, has homered in that game, his first big league homer. Howard Howard with a good cut, fouled it away.
Toby Harrah now managing the Texas Rangers. Very good friends with Mike Hargrove, the manager of the Indians. They spent time both here and in Texas. Probably anxious to manage against each other. Think there'll be some pitch outs that night?
A bluff of a bunt there by Howard. Baseball's hottest team, the Atlanta Braves, leading Pittsburgh again tonight. 3-1 in the 5th inning. That's Tom Glavine going for his 15th for the Braves.
Have you seen Montreal? They're right behind Pittsburgh.
Expos are leading the Dodgers tonight through 5 innings, 3-2. Eric Karros has homered in that game for L.A. It's a battle of Martinez's. Ramon against Dennis.
I think the Dodgers are in trouble.
I have to agree. They've been struggling all year. Mets leading San Diego through 4 innings tonight behind Sid Fernandez. 1-0. Cubs and Houston scoreless after 2. Mike Morgan pitching another good game for the Cubbies.
Houston getting ready to pack their bags. They're out of there this weekend for a month.
Howard pulls a bullet toward the right field corner. Maine on his way to 3rd, and Howard will pull into 2nd with a double. David Howard can't hit a ball any harder than that. He jumped all over it and rifled it past first baseman Paul Sorrento.
Got the bat head out and pulled it. Every once in a while he'll do this. Tried to come inside with the fastball. He was waiting for it. Just got it past the first baseman Sorrento. And the wet grass knocked this one down, or the Royals would have had a run.
David Howard has looked like a different player than the one we saw early in the season. Since his return from Omaha, he's been aggressive at the plate and in the field. He's now got a 5-game hitting streak working after that double. The Royals with runners at 2nd and 3rd. The infield will be drawn in for Cleveland now. And Mike Hargrove on his way to the mound. That may do it for Scott Scudder.
Well, Ted Power has been working for some time down in their bullpen in the right field corner. He is ready. As you mentioned earlier, he has done a good job for the Indians. They're not afraid to go to him. In fact, they've built a good bullpen down there. The only thing they're really missing is a big name. These guys have done it by committee. They've all got a role. And it might change from night to night. The way Hargrove is talking, got to figure Scudder's going to stay in this one.
The Indians had the All-America boy, Jack Armstrong, warming up down there a little earlier in the evening.
They're going to use him in long relief. He's just out of the rotation this time around. In fact, he would have been scheduled to start here last night. So this ball game going like it is, they don't figure to use the long reliever. That was probably just throwing on the side. Did it look like Mike Hargrove was challenging him right there?
It really did.
Telling him what he needed to do. Looked like it was keep the ball down. We need to get a ground ball. And they've got the infield pulled in.
Brian McRae up there at the plate already has 2 hits in the game and scored the only Royal run in the 3rd. Brian 2 for 3 tonight. First base open, the infield drawn in for Cleveland.
This situation, what you do, Denny, is try to find a pitch at least early in the count until you fall behind. Something you can get in the air, something you could possibly drive into a gap.
There's a look at the Cleveland defense.
You know, as a hitter, you're thinking run on 3rd base and got a chance for not necessarily a cheap RBI, but all you need is the fly ball. But at the same time, you're thinking about picking up both of them. That's why you think of trying to drive the ball. Something you can get for a long single, maybe a double, and you can pick up both RBIs. Get a little bit greedy.
Brian McRae hitting on his terms now, 2-0. A strike call from home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom. Mike Hargrove has already had his contract extended through next season. He would have preferred a couple of years.
He gave a couple of years to a number of their young players. They signed a dozen of their young players to multi-year contracts in the offseason.
Brian McRae with a liner to left, off the glove of Hill. 2 runs will score. Maine coming across. Now David Howard in the throw to 3rd, and McRae is in there. Glenn Allen Hill appeared to get to that ball in time, but it caromed off his glove and went to the wall. 2 runners scoring. It's 3-1 Kansas City.
And a play like that, the first thing that comes to mind, I wonder what effect the wet outfield has on the play. Let's take another look. Pitch on the outside edge, and Bryant got the line drive. It looked like he had it measured. It got by him, rolled to the edge of the track. 2 runs score easily. And McRae with his speed in at third base sliding.
We mentioned last night Bryan's hits seemed to come in bunches. He had gone 0 for 18 prior to tonight and now has his 8th 3-hit game of the season. Jeffries turns on the first pitch and belts it very deep to right field, but foul. He got every bit of that one. The Cleveland infield still drawn in. They can't allow any more damage here. 2 runs in the inning. RBIs 34 and 35 for McRae on the season. And that's the ball to Jeffries, 1-1. Greg drove in the first Royal run, extending his hitting streak to 6 games with a single in the 3rd. Wouldn't offer as that one dipped low, 2-1. Well, it's nice to see hard work pay off. Brian McRae with a 3-hit game after a lot of early batting practice today. A session with his father and hitting instructor Adrian Garrett. Deep fly ball to center field, plenty deep enough to get McRae home from 3rd. A sacrifice fly for Jeffries, give him RBI number 42 on the season, his 2nd of the night, and the Royals lead 4-1.
Jeffries in the same situation that Bryan was in the previous at bat. Runner on 3rd base, less than 2 outs. All it takes is the fly ball. He got a pitch he could handle, drove it high and deep to center.
Mike Hargrove may have waited a little too long with Scott Scudder. 4 runs, 10 hits for the Royals now. 1 run, 7 hits, and an error for Cleveland. The Indians giving George Brett a pretty good gap to hit in right center. There's a look at where Kenny Lofton is playing in left center. Brett triggered a little late, 1-2.
Juan Berenguer now back up in the Royals bullpen. 2nd time that he's been up this evening. And he just finished tossing. Wonder if he's getting ready to start the inning.
Game 3 of the series here tomorrow night. Mike Boddicker against Dennis Cook, who has earned his way out of the bullpen here with some fine pitching for Cleveland. The finale of the series here on Sunday, Ippolito Pichardo, who flirted with a perfect game in his last start, will go for the Royals.
You know, you talk about flirting with a perfect game. Before he gave up that double in his last time out against the Red Sox, the previous pitch could have been called strike 3. It was a borderline fastball across the top of the strike zone.
Ippolito looking on from the bullpen there with Juan Berenguer right behind him. A ball and 2 strikes here to Brett. George has his 3rd hit of the night, every one of them to center field. The countdown to 3,000 continues.
3rd hit of the ball game. That's the 5th time this year that he's done it, and that's going to do it for Scudder. Mike Hargrove, appreciating the work that Scudder had given him this evening, tried to give him the chance to get out of this inning, give him one more shot to get the lead, and it may have cost the Indians. The Royals have added 3 more runs since Hargrove's last visit to the mound. They're going to go to the bullpen and bring in 10 power. So it's a relief pitcher coming on. We'll break for this announcement.
He came on the other night in Kansas City split. His very first warm-up pitch, he threw back to the screen. I wouldn't be surprised if he bounced the next. I really wouldn't be surprised if he did it on purpose.
He told me that he had gone 10 days without pitching for the Braves. That's a long time when you're in the National League. All the double switches they do and the pinch hitting for pitchers. You need a deep bullpen in the National League, so he was not getting much work recently.
He had a great year for Atlanta last year. A career high 17 saves in 18 save chances. There wasn't a reliever in the major leagues who had a better success rate than that, converting save opportunities. Popped up. Maine runs out of room. National League hitters last season battled only 189 against Juan Berenguer. His hits to innings pitched ratio was super. 43 hits in 64 innings.
He has always been a power pitcher, and his best fastballs will be above the belt.
Late last season, he suffered a stress fracture in his pitching arm and didn't see any more action.
Tell you what, he's found himself on some winners recently. You talk about the Atlanta Braves last year, the Minnesota Twins in '87, and Detroit back in '84.
Sorrento triggered late on that fastball. Barely got the bat on it. Tony Aquino threw 60 pitches in 6 innings tonight. 39 of them were strikes. Gave up just a run on 7 hits. No walks, no strikeouts. Way upstairs to Sorrento. It's been a tough series so far for Paul Sorrento. Had that long home run in Kansas City, but he was 0 for 4 in last night's game, and 0 for 2 hit into a double play here tonight, his last time up. Berenguer will throw a lot of those high riding fastballs. Count now 3-2. He's wearing Mark Davis's old number.
Wearing Ted Power's old number too.
Just foul. Talking about Pichardo and his flirtation with the perfect game the other night split. Every time I think of a perfect game, I think of the story of Cleveland pitcher Len Barker when he threw his perfect game, and he got the call afterwards from his grandmother who said, "Lenny, I'm so proud of you, and I know you're going to do even better next time."
Grandma was trying hard, though.
Granny, it doesn't get any better than perfection, dear. That ball is hit deep to left field. Gwynn over. It's past him to the wall. One big bounce into the mitt of Gwynn and a strong throw to second base, but it's a double for Sorrento, leading off the 7th for Cleveland.
At one time in his career, that's about all Sorrento did. A dead pull hitter, uppercut swing, trying to pull everything. But this year with the Indians, he's become a much better hitter, and he'll go to left center a little bit more often. But right there, the fastball was down and on the inner half, and that is his natural groove swing right there.
Yeah, he put some crank into that swing, didn't he?
I like that term, crank.
Definitely was crank in that. Now Mark Whitten, who lined out to the shortstop David Howard his last time up. Berenguer threw him a breaking ball that dipped low. 11 hits for the Royals tonight, 8 for the Indians. Royals still on top, 4-1. Down too low again. The Indians have not homered in this series, and it's unusual for them to go 2 straight games without a home run. They have 73 round trippers already in the season, only 6 fewer than they hit all of last year. And we aren't to August yet. Now the 2-0 from Berenguer. Low and inside, 3-0 to Whitten. Glenn Allen Hill would be next.
You mentioned Brian McRae out early this afternoon with a special session with his father. Mark Whitten was out early as well with Mike Hargrove. And a little attention from his manager working into the net.
Berenguer, whose control really wasn't that bad once he got in the ball game the other night in Kansas City, gets a strike over here, 3-1. Left fielder McReynolds tracking this one. Sorrento makes a bluff toward third and heads back. 1 out in the 7th.
Merrill's got a pretty defensive swing out of Witten right there with the count 3-1. Berenguer made a pretty good pitch down and away from him, and he was caught reaching a little bit. Let's take another look.
Yeah, you'd definitely like to see a better rip than that 3-1.
Well, his rear end bailed out on him. He gave way on the pitch and got caught reaching down and away.
Now Glenn Allen Hill up there 0 for 2 tonight. That was a good cut, not defensive at all. Cleveland Indians have scored only 3 runs in their last 29 innings. Berenguer trying to keep it that way with a runner at second. Jeffries heads off the hot shot, throws across to Getty. And Sorrento, who led off the inning with the double, is still there at second base with 2 out. It'll be up now to Brooke Jacoby to try to get the run home. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
It's easy for you to purchase Royals tickets. Simply call 921-4400. Use your American Express, your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card. Fans outside the Kansas City area, call 1-800-422-1969. For the hearing and speech impaired, it's 921-5434.
Brooke Jacoby goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. He's grounded out and flied to center tonight. Jacoby has had a good month of July so far, hitting .333 in the month.
He was signed earlier this year as a backup and platoon player, but he's gotten some time recently. Actually got some time early in the year because of injuries.
I brought up the name from the past, Lenny Barker. Pitched a perfect game here in Cleveland. Jacoby came over here from the Atlanta Braves with Brett Butler in exchange for Len Barker, and that trade turned out much better for Cleveland than it did for Atlanta. Barker started having arm problems and never really pitched that effectively for the Braves, but Jacoby and Brett Butler were productive players here for a number of years in Cleveland. And Jacoby's catch of the day goes to David Howard for his catch of Mark Witten's looping line drive in the second inning. David heading it off on its way to center field, helping the Royals hang on to this 3-1 lead, 4-1 rather, and up there now Wally Joyner 0 for 3 in the game. Wally hit into a double play his last time up. Ted Power pitching in relief of Scott Scudder, who went the first 6 2/3 innings and gave up all 4 runs. Just 3 of them were earned. He gave up all 11 Royal hits in the game. Fastball just below the knees. You talk about a contrast. Last night, Kevin Apier threw only 94 pitches in 10 innings. Tonight, Scott Scudder threw 124 pitches in 6 2/3 innings. Joyner takes 3-0. Very small crowd on hand here in Cleveland tonight. Nasty weather may have had something to do with that. There were tornado warnings in the surrounding counties late this afternoon and this evening. We had just over 8,000 last night, and it does not appear to be near as many here this evening. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Joyner. run in the third and 3 more in the seventh. The lead 4-1. Payoff to Wally. Line foul. If the Royals can hang on here, they could notch their 9th win in 13 games. The win would make them 7-10 against Cleveland. That ball hit deep to right field. Whitten going back at the warning track. Now at the base of the fence makes the catch. A long out off the bat of Wally Joyner.
Just the way Wally left the plate, you had a feeling he didn't think he got it all. He was watching and hoping. It came down in the yard.
And that brings up Chris Gwynn, who's 0 for 3. Gwynn takes a ball. In the games that Chris Gwynn started for the Dodgers last year, he batted .267. He's a former #1 draft pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They got him out of San Diego State, where he set an NCAA record for most hits in one season. 137 hits in a college baseball season.
Chances are that record's not going to be broken because they've cut back on the number of games that colleges can play now. I believe the NCAA number is 56. What was his total?
137.
56 games. That's going to be a pretty good pace right there.
Better believe it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now 3-1. And they've just announced the official attendance tonight. And they have placed it at 10,824. But I guarantee you many of them are disguised as empty seats here.
They're averaging about 14,000 per game. We had, what, 8,000 here last night?
And this crowd doesn't look nearly as large. And there's ball 4 to Gwynn. There's part of the 10,824.
Well, that's the dog pound. That'll be full in a couple weeks. Cleveland Browns start their preseason schedule. Field's in great shape right now, but he headed downhill here in a couple of weeks.
This place seats 74,480. Brent Maine up there. Singled his last time up. He's now hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. Takes a strike from Power. Good stop by Alomar. Quite a job to keep that ball in front of him.
For a big man, he's awful active behind the plate. Knocks balls well and reacts to him well. He jumps on him and gets back in position to throw. Let's take another look.
We are watching 2 of the better defensive catchers in the American League tonight. Maine at the plate awaits the 1-1 pitch. Does Brent Maine just look like a line drive hitter? Why is it that some guys, you see him walk up to the plate and you just see line drive written all over him?
Well, he's got the level swing, and you see him trying to take the ball back up the middle. You don't see him trying to pull the ball. He tries to hit it back through the middle and left center, right center. Right there.
Another line drive. This one to the opposite field. The Royals have their 12th hit of the game. 2 runners aboard now for Curtis Wilkerson.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Maine's bat is one of the quickest strokes that I've ever seen, but the swing is level, and he tries to stay on top of the ball. That's a ball that many times pitch up and away from you. You'll get underneath it and get the fly ball to left field. You can stay on top of that pitch and drive it. Pretty well handle the pitch into right center field as well.
Curtis Wilkerson up there, 1 for 3 tonight. After a low pitch and fouled it off.
Royals now with a dozen hits in the ball game. Picked up 6 here last night.
4 of the dozen came in the 7th inning. And Scott Scudder. And they scored 3 times to take the lead 4-1.
Baltimore scored 5 times in the bottom of the 6th. They now lead the Texas Rangers 6-2.
Baltimore manager Johnny Oates freely admitted that his club was just shell-shocked yesterday at the news that a 6-year-old son of utility infielder Tim Hewlett had died of injuries suffered when he was hit by a car walking in his neighborhood. Speaking as a parent who's lost a son, there's nothing more devastating. Now the 0-2 pitch to Wilkerson. Popped up, shallow left. Hill with the catch. 2 down now in the 8th. We'll bring up David Howard. We might just mention that a Kimberly Potek trust fund has been established by friends of the Freddie Potek family. Kim Potek, 20-year-old daughter of Royals Hall of Famer Freddie Potek, in critical condition following an auto accident early Tuesday morning, the 21st. A trust fund being established to assist with medical bills for Kim, a young adult with limited insurance living in Independence, Missouri. First pitch to David Howard. We'll give you an address to send any support you might wish to contribute. That's the Kimberly Potek Trust Fund, Blue Springs Bank, Post Office Box 490, Blue Springs, Missouri 64013. Foul back, 1-1.
David had another pretty good hack right there. Fouled it straight back. Indians will tell you Ted Power has been the key guy in their bullpen. Talk about they don't have any #1 horse that they ride out there on a regular basis. I think that his veteran leadership both on and off the field has been very important for the youngsters that they've got out there.
Ted Power looking in at Alomar for a sign. A ball and a strike. 2 on, 2 out in the Royals half of the 8th inning. High and away. Nobody working behind Power in the Cleveland pen. Royal bullpen quiet as well. Howard took another good cut. I think we've already seen more aggressive swings from David than we did in all the time he was with the club at the beginning of the season split.
I don't think the Royals are looking for much out of him from his bat. They want the solid play at shortstop. They want the good range and play steady daily. Down in the bottom part of the order, they would look for him to get on base occasionally, but advance base runners. He wasn't asked to hit a lot at the start of the season.
No, and I can't go along with it. I don't think you tell a guy we don't expect any hitting from you. I mean, you expect him to hit major league caliber. No matter how well you play defense, you've got to be able to hit, and I think David understands that now. That He's got to carry his share of the load at the bottom of the batting order. You don't want automatic outs in your lineup.
He ended up hitting .216 last year. Came on in the second half of the year. Think of another shortstop that played a long time at the major league level, Mark Belanger. Punch and Judy type hitter, didn't do things very well with the bat except advance all the base runners.
Yep.
Always keep the ball in play and make all the plays at shortstop. That was a world championship team.
Now the 2-2 to Howard. Down too low. Well, you remember Ozzie Smith didn't hit much early in his career. He showed the great glove. Same with Larry Boa over in Philadelphia. But as they matured as shortstops, they also matured as hitters and became very tough outs late in their career. Maybe it'll be the same for David Howard. Although we don't mean to put pressure on him by putting him in that kind of company.
I mentioned another one, Denny, that really came along in his career. Davey Concepcion, when he first came to the big leagues with Cincinnati, just put the ball in play. He was a skinny youngster. He ended up hitting home runs before his career was over.
A lot of extra base hits for the Reds. When Power wheeled towards second, neither one of his middle infielders, Hal Morris, have homered in that ball game. Cubs and Houston still scoreless through 4. Philadelphia leads San Francisco 3-1 through 6 innings. Darren Dalton has homered again for Philadelphia in that ball game. He's got 16 this year. Talk about a catcher who's coming on. Here's the American League All-Star catcher, Sandy Alomar, 2 for 2 tonight, and make it 3 for 3 as he drills one to left. Can you get there, Kevin? No, it's off the top of the wall. And I do mean the top, right off the top of the fence. Second double of the night for Sandy Alomar, his 3rd hit.
He's gotten the bat head out a lot better tonight against Royals pitching than he did against Appier here last night. That's where he makes contact right out in front of the plate, and that's a good-looking swing. He didn't get to any pitch in last night's contest, anything like that, and as you mentioned, right off the top of the pads.
McReynolds thought it was out. Kenny Lofton, the batter now. He's 2 for 3, including his 18th bunt hit of the season tonight. There's the Royals all-star closer, Jeff Montgomery, warming. Felix Fermin is the scheduled hitter after Lofton, but Thomas Howard, left-handed batter with some power, is already out in the on-deck circle. And Guy Hansen, the Royals pitching coach, out now to talk with Juan Berenguer.
And I think the way things are going right now, Hal McRae probably asked Jeffries to go in and visit with Berenguer a little bit. Also the same story with Brent Maine. And once they got back to their positions, Guy Hansen goes out. I think this is a stalling tactic to give Montgomery a little bit more time out in that Royals bullpen. Of course, Berenguer is going to have to face Lofton, but this could be his last man.
Al McRae getting understandably antsy with a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. If Lofton would get on, Howard would come to the plate representing the tying run, and that's high to Kenny Lofton. Lofton hits it deep to right field, way back, and it is gone. Kenny Lofton launches his 3rd home run of the season, and just like that, it's a 4-3 game. So the American League's fastest player shows he also has some power. Anytime you make the All-Star team at the age of 22, you've got some kind of career ahead of you. That's the story with Carlos Baerga. Fastball outside. Runs, 12 hits for the Royals tonight. 3 runs, 10 hits, and an error for Cleveland. It's foul. Jeff Montgomery, a native Ohioan, has his family with him here in Cleveland. And a strike. Well, don't want to see Baerga on base. Albert Bell is next. He would come to the plate, representing the go-ahead run.
Baerga's not going to get cheated. This is a tough out. Got good knowledge of the strike zone. Montgomery has thrown a couple strikes, then tried to work out of the zone, unable to get Baerga to chase bad pitches.
Baerga, a switch hitter who doesn't have a lot of holes in that swing from either side.
If you come inside, you've got to be very careful in there.
Hold back. Montgomery has been getting great mileage out of his changeup this year. In fact, he says it's been the secret of his success in this All-Star season. He's ended a number of games with strikeouts off the changeup this season.
The pattern in the past has been fastball, curveball to the lefties, fastball, slider to the righties. But both lefties and righties have seen that straight change. There's one right there.
And he gets another strikeout. Maine will have to throw to first to complete it. 2 down now in the 8th. Here comes Albert.
We mentioned earlier in the ballgame that Tony Aquino was probably not going to be able to pitch Albert Bell the same way that Apier did last night. Their stuff is just not similar. Montgomery and Apier a little bit closer.
A lot of sliders low and away.
Oh, also the mixture of the fastball along with it. Montgomery doesn't throw quite as hard as Apier, but the good fastball to go along with it. And Apier had the fastball by Bell last night. He was able to make contact, but not able to get the bat head out in front to drive it.
That fastball was inside. Bell 2 for 3, a pair of solid singles tonight. Albert Bell drove in a larger percentage of his team's run last year than Cecil Fielder did with the Tigers. Off the glove of David Howard. 3rd hit of the night for Albert Bell.
Just off the glove of Howard at short, as you mentioned, Denny. They were playing him as a pull hitter. He was shaded slightly towards the hole between short and third. This is the breaking ball. Get the ground ball. But just out of Howard's reach.
Good effort by David. Now Sorrento up there, who doubled his last time up. A long ball would put the Indians in front. Ball missed away.
think right here you have to try to keep Sorrento from pulling the ball. So the ball that he hit last time up, he had that crank swing, as you called it. He is a pull hitter, although he will shoot the gap in left center field. Probably not the power to get it out of here.
Fouled down the left field line. And with 3 hits in a game for the 8th time this season. Ted Power pitches to him. Fouled back off the screen. Scott Scudder went the first 6 2/3, giving all 4 Royal runs. And 11 of the 12 hits. Ted Power on ever since. Bouncing ball to Baerga at second. Out number 1 of the 9th. Greg Jeffries the batter now. Greg with 2 runs batted in tonight. Going to run with a single in the 3rd and another with a sacrifice fly in the 7th. 1 for 3 in the game. That single in the 3rd was his 100th hit of the season. With a chance to improve their record in a 1-run ball game tonight. If they can hang on and win this one, they'd much rather have some insurance. That one cued off the end of the bat. Lewis, who just came in at shortstop defensively, throws out Jeffries. 2 gone. Looking ahead to the Indians' 9th. Whitten, Hill, and Jacoby are scheduled. Their 6th, 7th, and 8th hitters.
Lewis there at shortstop talking about how that ball was spinning sideways. He was going to get a tricky hop as it was, but it also kicked off the side of the mound. Forced it to his right a little bit more. Made the play in time.
Now George Brett up there looking for his 4th hit of the game. 3 singles to center field by George has him smiling tonight.
George needs 73 more hits to get to 3,000. The Royals, after tonight, have 65 games left. So this is about the closest that George has been to where he needs a hit per ball game the rest of the way.
Not out of the question. Not as hot as this guy can get.
Plus the fact that he's such a gamer. If he's close, you know he's going to go for it. And he thinks he can get it done this year.
If he does get it done this year.
George needs 73 more hits to get to 3,000. The Royals, after tonight, have 65 games left. So this is about the closest that George has been to where he needs a hit per ball game the rest of the way.
Not out of the question. Not as hot as this guy can get.
Plus the fact that he's such a gamer. If he's close, you know he's going to go for it. And he thinks he can get it done this year.
If he does get it done this year, he will have done it with such a flair and have hit the ball so well that he won't possibly be able to retire next year.
At any rate, he's going to be in a position where he's going to get to make the decision, which is the way it should be. Not many guys get to do that.
That's going to be hit number 4.
They'll make it 72 hits needed in 65 games. He fights this pitch off. Tried to work it inside on the hands. Looping it out into short left center field. George now 4 for 5 for the night.
And this is George's 2nd 4-hit game of the season. McReynolds at the plate, 1 for 3 with a walk tonight. Breaking ball from Ted Power for a strike. Activity in the Cleveland bullpen. Derek Lilliquist, the left-hander, and Steve Olin, a right-hander.
Indians really don't have set roles in their bullpen. They've got 4 different pitchers with saves. Although Olin would be considered their closer with 18 saves, but many times you see him come on in the 7th or 8th innings. You see other pitchers finishing ball games and picking up saves as well. Power has picked up 4 of them. They're not necessarily locked into one specific role.
Brett with a very conservative lead at first, and the pitch to McReynolds. That's a strike. Tonight, by the way, marks the 51st 4-hit game of George Brett's career. Can you imagine how many hitters would love to have had one 4-hit night in their career? And George has 51 of them.
How many guys would like to get into 51 games? Talk about people scuffling. Just want to see the field 51 times.
McReynolds fouls it off. Two balls and 2 strikes. In this situation earlier tonight, the Indians tried to get McReynolds out low and away. He dumped one down the right field line and almost had himself an opposite field double. He did just the same thing in Kansas City last week with a big opposite field double on a good pitch down low and away. If he doesn't think he can hit it, he won't swing at it. If he thinks he can dump it to right field, he will. He drives this one to left, way back. Hill at the wall, and it is gone. Kevin McReynolds has just launched his 13th home run of the year, giving the Royals 2 big insurance runs. And it didn't take long for that one to get out. RBIs 44 and 45 for McReynolds on the year, as he took care of a mistake from Ted Power.
When you mentioned George Brett with the conservative lead at first base, first thought was he's going to give McReynolds a chance to drive him in from there. He's not going to do anything too tricky. Nothing real fancy about this. You just hit it out of the lot.
Looked like a hanging breaking ball.
And by the way, if you figure out George's lifetime batting average just in his 4-hit games, he's hitting .022.
So Kevin McReynolds had been the last Royal to hit a home run back on July the 9th, and he stops the drought with home run number 13 for himself this year. Wally Joyner with a big swing and a miss. 6 runs, 14 hits for the Royals now. 3 runs, 11 hits for Cleveland. Royals and Jeff Montgomery breathing a lot easier now. Thanks to McReynolds. Fastball out away from Joyner. Chris Gwynn with a chance to drive in his 6th run of the season here if he can get Joyner home from second. Makes a pretty good bid for it, driving it deep to right center field, and that ball is gone. Chris Gwynn's first home run in the American League, and the Royals lead 8-3. What a rude greeting for Derek Lilliquist.
Well, tell me, has this ball game turned around? We saw a pitcher's duel here last night where they just dominated. Neither club gets much going offensively, but the last couple innings.
Not what Jeff Montgomery had in mind with a 5-run lead, going 3-0 on the leadoff batter. The Indians have made some pretty astute trades in recent years. One of them was deal with the Toronto Blue Jays when they got Glenn Allen Hill and Mark Whitten for Tom Candiotti. Candiotti, of course, didn't stay with the Blue Jays. Now pitching in the National League with the Dodgers. Montgomery takes it himself and beats Whitten. A little push in the back from Witten, and Monty's not real happy with Mark.
Say, this can go either way. We'll take another look. Either Witten was grabbing him, trying to hold him up, make sure he didn't run up his back.
Guess again.
I had John Mayberry, who could have ruined my career when I was in the minor leagues. Had a catcher playing first base, threw me a low throw. I stumbled over the back, and John caught me and carried me on down the line, stood me up, and said, well, just hang in there. Say, it can go either way. They've got you at their mercy right there.
Here is Glenn Allen Hill. Swung at the high fastball, no contact. Big John helped you in more than one way. I know he hit a lot of dingers for you.
Maybe he knew we'd end up together someday.
Uh-oh. Montgomery plunks Glenn Allen Hill. Here come both benches. This is not surprising. Hill appears to be under control now, standing at first base. Players in both dugouts heading back inside. The bullpens never did get down there, although they were on their way. Jeff Montgomery saying it just slipped. Gary Cedarstrom isn't buying it.
I think Cedarstrom has officially warned him. Let's take another look at the pitch.
Right in the gluteus maximus.
The left glute.
So cooler heads appear to have prevailed here. 1 on, 1 out. Brooke Jacoby at the plate. Now Gary Cedarstrom, the home plate umpire, saying something to Mike Hargrove.
I think he's handling it pretty well. If he is warning both benches, he's making it very clear that he's done that and trying to take charge of things. Bottom of the 9th inning. Don't want anything to break out right here. The umpire's responsibility is to keep the game moving and keep it moving smoothly.
And Montgomery starts Jacoby out with a breaking ball and a beauty. Brooke Jacoby hitless in 3 tries, lined to center field his last time up. Now 0-2. Montgomery would really like to dispose of Jacoby because Sandy Alomar is in the on-deck circle, and he's been swinging a red-hot bat tonight. Just missed a home run his last time up, and that was his 3rd hit of the game. It went off the top of the wall and left. It wound up being his 2nd double of the night. You don't want Alomar coming up with 2 on. He could make this game interesting in a hurry. Thankfully, the Royal lead is 5. Fly ball center field. No problem for Brian McRae. The Royals are an out away from winning game 2 of this series and evening things up. Let's see if